we have Steve Argentino. On the 13th, we have Matt Amato. On the 19th, we have Romeo. And on the 20th, we have Funny Bone. So, yes. August already heating up, if it wasn't hot already. Baking in Southern California. So yeah, since we're done putting ourselves over, it is a great day for wrestling because we're wrestling with the news. And not so good news for El Grande Americano and Soluca as apparently Speed has been cancelled. I don't think that it necessarily had the traction that it was looking for. I don't think anybody um, woke up on a Wednesday and said, I can't wait to do some speed, except Tony Khan. Different kind of speed, though. But yeah, there hasn't been a new episode since July 9th, with fuels speculation that the partnership with X may be over. Kaliko?
I mean, he's built on ketamine, so God knows what's going to happen. I mean, just change of the dime. I mean, who knows? But then again, Speed, it was kind of a concept that really wasn't going to work because usually you want matches to tell a story, and you really can't tell a story in 3 minutes or less. so, so there's that factor.
Um, I get that. I mean, you could still have a semi decent match in 3 minutes. It's just kind of. I just don't think that it maybe got the traction or the exposure that people was looking for. Looking for. I mean, it wasn't for the lack of exposure. I mean, I want to say mostly everybody has Twitter / X. But like if you're not necessarily looking for it, you're not necessarily gonna find it. Am I wrong about that?
No, it's just that Twitter is kind of most people see it as a cesspool anyway, so it's iffy at best, and no one really watches episodes of anything on X. I mean, unless you're just really alt right, but other than that, I mean, I can't recall of anything showing in full form because everything's about clips and views.
Right.
So if it's not getting the views, it's doomed from start. But you can't get a view. Usually, views and clips, unless it's like telling a story of what happened in within 3 minutes, that's a whole different story than trying to tell a whole match in 3 to 5 minutes.
And I mean the full on videos of speed are like 5 minutes in total. And I mean that doesn't seem like a lot of time whatsoever, but in social media terms, that's like a 3 hour movie. So I mean, it's hard to even condense. People don't on Twitter or on social media in general don't really have the attention span to watch a 5 minute video. Despite it only being 5 minutes, which is a sad thing to say.
Right. But I mean, that's just. I mean, but humans in general, our attention spans are hella short. So everything is in clips, and it's usually a minute to two. It's not really like a, you know, 3 minute clip because it's either people who like long form or short form. And short form is at best like 30 to 45 seconds, maybe a minute. That's why everybody's talking fast. Follow me on the, like that. I'm sorry to sound Hindu, but that ain't my, that wasn't the
That
that
wasn't the
wasn't the
intention. Um, I'm sorry, but what was we talking about?
Uh, Speed being canceled.
Ah, yeah. Maybe they'll come back with a TikTok version that's 45 seconds.
Oh God, no.
And I'm just I'm just sad that Sol Ruka doesn't have two belts anymore.
I mean, she still got two belts. It's just they haven't showed an episode in a hot minute.
Well, I mean, you're the champion
The-
of a show that does not exist anymore.
I mean, as of now.
I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe YouTube will pick it up, but I mean, they're not getting like millions of dollars to do that.
Well, I mean, I would think they would still record it and just put it on their YouTube channel.
I guess so, but I mean, if it's not really if it's not really benefiting anybody, then why do it at all?
Good point. That is a good point.
Speaking of benefiting nobody, Alberto Del Rio was he lost a loser leaves triple A match on
No, more like he got fucked.
yeah. But I mean that's the I'm using the politically correct phrase right now. Um yeah, basically he got fired. Loser leaves triple A match. Um I mean, he fulfilled his contractual duties, on I give WWE credit for not just, outright firing him and not kind of giving him that um conclusive and decisive ending. But it doesn't necessarily end there. People within WWE are actually pushing for Alberto Del Rio to make a return to the main roster. Um, I highly doubt that would ever happen. Um, he does seem very problematic, as he has in the past. And he doesn't seem like he's calmed down. I mean, maybe he has. I haven't seen like any interviews or, you know, personality tests on him recently, but I don't think he's calmed down in this general sense like CM Punk has in the recent years. Um, what say you on Del Rio being considered to be called back up to the main roster?
The reason Del Rio is not CM Punk because CM Punk had people chanting his name even though he was gone for a decade.
Right.
Totally different. If Alberto Del Rio was a draw, they would swallow their pride.
Was Alberto Del Rio a draw back in the day?
Was he? Good question.
I mean, I dare for you to mention 2011 into 2013 without ever bringing Alberto Del Rio's name up. I mean, he won the Royal Rumble and the Money in the Bank in the same year. He was a multiple time WWE champion. He main evented WrestleMania at one point. Um,
Yeah, I guess they wanted him to be the Mexican savior, and they realized he wasn't because he was boring. Remember, Punk told him he was boring. Destiny.
um, I never thought it was that he was boring. I always felt that it was that he had a bad attitude. You know, I believe the reason he got fired was he slapped somebody backstage. Um, so I mean, you can't necessarily have your talent slapping, employees just when they kind of feel like it. Even if they do deserve it or not. And obviously, all of the problematic things that happened with Paige, and then you have everything that happened with him outside of WWE that is very, very problematic. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can say that, but all that would be forgiven if he was a draw.
And I guess you're right about that. I mean, all was forgiven with Hulk Hogan. Um, when he came back, maybe by the company, definitely not by the fans. That being said, in Florida, um, August 1st was pronounced Hulk Hogan Day, brother. You were encouraged to take your vitamins, say your prayers, sleep with your best friend's wife, and say something racist. So,
And just make sure videos ain't around.
right. um, aren't you supposed to have somebody's day when they're actually alive? That's normally how I know it to be. Unless they're making it a national holiday, which I highly doubt they are. Delico?
Yeah, but then again, when you got Bubba the Love Sponge out there yelling, "Oh yeah, I shouldn't have had Hogan sleep with my wife," after the fact. I just offered it to him because he was in a down place. Like, wait, what?
Um,
Like, yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
that part. But yeah, that's some freaky ass people.
Well, you could say that WWE made good on a proper acknowledgement of Hulk Hogan's passing. Did a nice tribute for him. Um, Even New Japan did a tribute to Hulk Hogan on one of their tour shows for the G1. That was a pretty nice tribute as well. AEW was very much criticized for not acknowledging Hulk Hogan's passing whatsoever when they had, acknowledged other wrestlers' passings that had nothing, that was never associated with the company, which kind of prompted them to have a very condensed and small segment where Tony Schiavone mentioned Hulk Hogan's passing on Collision. Um, Not necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily say that it was too appraisal of Hulk Hogan. It kind of sidestepped, sidestepped it, and kind of just, he was a human being that had a family, and your thoughts and prayers should be with the family. Um, should have should AEW have done a little bit more, just kind of have at the beginning of the show, the passing of Hulk Hogan. Were they right or were they kind of wrong for what they did?
I mean, it's iffy because they don't have history with Hogan. I mean, the people in the company has had history with Hogan, but AEW as a company doesn't. So it it's not. It was. I mean, if they acknowledged him, be happy that they acknowledged him. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't have mattered because the onus is on WWE to make that tribute because that's who he is most synonymous with.
I mean, true, but I mean, when even New Japan and I want to say TNA did something for them. I don't know. When they kind of go out of their way
But
to acknowledge
he's been with all of those companies, so it makes sense that TNA and New Japan would do something because he's been there.
true, but for better or worse, Hulk Hogan was the biggest pro wrestler in the world. You know,
I get it. I get it because it's almost like how can I put this? It's like when Kobe died, the onus was on the NBA to do it to express his passing, right? Everyone else doing it was more extra, if that makes sense.
I got you.
And not saying that it's not warranted. If it didn't happen, no one would have been like, "Hey, you didn't do," you know what I mean?
Right.
So that I guess I get it in that regard. Like prime example, Kobe died. The NBA did something, but the onus was on the Lakers the most to do the most. If that makes sense.
Right.
Like the NBA, like Miami can acknowledge it, but he didn't play for them, so it's not like they can do anything to make it right for the Bryant family. If that makes sense.
No, it does. Um, Earlier this week, um, WWE Unreal made its debut on Netflix. Um, some might say it's controversial. Some love it, some hate it. Some thinks it's exposing the business. Um, I definitely have some thoughts. I'm only 3 out of the 5 episodes in, but I kind of already have an opinion and kind of decided what I feel about Unreal. I don't know if you've seen it or if you have an opinion on it, Kaliko.
I haven't seen it. However, I already have had it. I mean, Twitter in itself has already had it. Um, but I kind of the well, I'll let you go first because me personally, I think what my opinion of it is it might be totally different than yours.
Okay. Well, so you know the key thing that is supposed to make this different is that they're letting us into Gorilla and the integral workings of WWE and how they decide who goes over and how they produce matches and yada yada. Um, and it's supposed to be this taboo thing, and I get that, but I don't feel like they showed us anything that we don't really already know as pro wrestling fans, and things that we kind of haven't already saw on on documentaries. Maybe they give us a little bit here and there just to kind of say, hey, this is how we do things. Um, but it's funny, but I think the best word to describe Unreal is kayfabe. It's they're letting you in, but also keeping kayfabe at the same time. Because those little, I, and this is just how I feel, and I feel like this is accurate. It's worked. These aren't real occurrences that actually happen backstage. These are worked up occurrences that they used to make a documentary. It's just as scripted as an episode of Raw or SmackDown. And I mean, the biggest case in point I'll make with this is they showed the Royal Rumble, and they showed how things were going on backstage during the Royal Rumble. Well, what was the most newsworthy backstage moment coming out of the Royal Rumble? Drew McIntyre hooting and hollering and yelling that LA Knight, had messed up the spot because he had to get his shit in. There was no mention of Drew McIntyre. There was no video of McIntyre. There was no view of LA Knight. If you're doing an quote unquote unreal, show, that's an unscripted and unplanned thing that actually happened. And they didn't show that. So they're con- they're controlling the narrative of what they want you to see in their controlled way, which is pretty much a WWE thing, no?
Um, I, me personally, when I saw it, or when I didn't, well, I never saw it, but when I heard it, um, I equated it to, and I don't know, most people don't understand it, Hard Knocks, right? I don't think if you've ever seen Hard Knocks, right?
Um, I I don't know what
So
hard
so
knocks are you
Hard
referring
Knocks is
to.
like the NFL version of Unreal, where they're kind of taking you in the locker room,
Okay.
showing you what players are on the bubble of getting cut, how they come up with who they draft, and blah 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 and yada yada yada. And to me, I just looked at it like it's just a smoke and mirror for what's going on, because the same way the NFL teams that do Hard Knocks allow you to do it to a certain point. That's what WWE's doing. They're allowing you to do it to a certain point. They're allowing access to a certain point, because I think most people are more worried about the fact that that the about the happenings of, like, prime example. One thing I heard about is the Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte thing. We kind of knew that was a thing, so it wouldn't have. It makes sense that the video would be deemed like fake.
Right, because we have conflicting reports on that. I haven't got to that episode yet, but you know, somebody said that it was 100% a walk, and it was scripted, and everybody knew what was going to be said and what happened. I don't think that they accounted for the Chicago fans being so loud and drawing off Charlotte. But now they're saying, oh, it wasn't, Tiffany went in for business to herself. Um, it's just conflicting narratives. But, I could maybe make the case that they made it that way just to create some drama on the show. Controlled drama.
I think they're just controlling access to what people want, what people they're allowing people to see to make it either garner attention or sympathy to a wrestler or a particular person.
Right. The one thing.
And
Oh, continue.
and to me, that's no different than what they did in Hard Knocks. They had a player that people were like, "Oh my God, yeah, I'm really rooting for this guy or that guy," or you know.
Yeah.
So it's no different in that regard.
No, I get
So
you.
I mean, so I, so to me, and to me, is no different than what. And I see some wrestlers saying it take away the mystique, but to be quite honest, all these podcasters and podcasts telling people what happened back then and the behind the scenes of back then. What's the difference between us doing that and them doing it on TV?
I think the only difference is that this is very much brand new. This was literally 6 months ago, the beginning of this year, where
That's true.
gee, I wonder what happened in the Montreal screw job. Well, that was 25 years ago, so we could have the real true story now. I mean, even though it's been done to death, but you get my point. Just using that as an example. I the only if I had one gripe about it or one critique, this shouldn't have been on Netflix. This should have been on Peacock, a Peacock exclusive, because as we kind of all know, um, you know, a lot of people are watching WWE for the first time on Netflix. Um, it's kind of like, you know, hearing about Santa Claus for the first time. And if you're coming in like 6 months after debuted on Netflix, and you're like, well, all of this is a work, it's all scripted, it's all, unreal. For those people that just came in or didn't know that, it kind of kills the magic. And, as wrestling fans, we know that, an integral part of, you know, being a wrestling fan is when you first come in and you wonder, is this real or not? You know what I mean?
I that would be a thing, but the problem is that suspense is already gone because when you got wrestlers posting, prime example, the women's division posting videos with each other on TikTok, like, and so that suspension has already been gone. Like the advent of social media has shown has kind of dissipated that.
Um, well, maybe, I mean, WWE's and not they have Netflix in third world countries where they don't have TikTok and X, so maybe they don't see those things.
Bullshit. There's cats in Africa that's got a fucking man. Look. You remember them kids that was in Nigeria sitting up there, goddamn, making videos of Roman Reigns' entrances. Come on, bro. Like they have access. Everyone has. They may not have running water, but they got the goddamn internet.
So the them bushmen from Africa have iPhones, is what you're saying?
I'm telling you, bro. Shit, I'm telling you, bro.
Um, One might say that this is an unreal thing that happened. Vince McMahon was in a car crash. A Dre car crash, from what I've heard. He rammed into somebody from the back, and somebody came in from the back of him and hit him as well. It was reported as pretty severe. Luckily, nobody was severely injured. But Vince McMahon does have to appear in court later this month for this car crash. I can only imagine that he laughed his ass off and said, well, this is the least of my problems.
Right. So I mean, but hey, yeah, trust me, the car crash ain't got shit. He'd rather be in that car crashing than a court case. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Let it be known.
People say, no, this is a very Vince McMahon thing, but I could just make the argument that this is just a 75-year-old thing. Like, I mean, how is Vince McMahon still driving and he's well into his 70s, going on his 80s?
You could be 80 and have a license, bro. That ain't got shit to do with it. How else will he keep? How else is he gonna separate himself from Linda, bro?
I mean, he has
He
a
got
limo driver,
he,
doesn't he?
he's got moves to make. Sometimes they want to drive they expensive car to Martha's Vineyard.
The funny part is, before this report came out, I don't even remember hearing about Vince McMahon driving. Like, I wasn't aware he knew how to drive.
Oh no, he knows how to drive. That motherfucker be driving.
I think. Okay, I'll say this. He drove his car into Monday Night Raw when Stone Cold put the concrete in it. There was that. But that just
Yes.
that was literally it. It was all limos after that. Oh, if something,
But I'm just,
yeah.
but hey, but shit, he's trying to lay low, keep a low profile. That maybe that was what they were doing. They were expecting him to have chauffeurs, and he's like drive by himself, no one sees him. All tinted windows, not paying attention on the freeway.
Wouldn't it,
Vincent
wouldn't it be hilarious if this was
texting and
the
driving.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if this was the thing that finally drew Vince McMahon in jail? Like, out of all the serious allegations he's got out of, but like a mundane car crash landed him his first time in jail.
Nah, he ain't gonna jump in no damn car crashes. It's just it ain't happening. But
No, it's not. What is happening is the Wyatt Six is getting a haunted house at Universal Studios this October for the fun houses or the haunted houses. Um, I I want to say that this is maybe a big thing for WWE. Kind of getting rolling over into theme park you know stuff. What say you? Is the Wild Six getting a haunted house at Universal Studios a big W for WWE?
I mean, is it Orlando or is it California Adventure?
That is a good question. I don't know.
Because I would have I mean, maybe I would think it. I mean, it's a good thing. It just depends on where.
Um, you know, um, it's always been WWE's thing to kind of branch out into, in other media, and I mean, this could be, a potential for a WWE ride at a Universal Studios or, something of that nature. Um, just kind of see how that goes.
I mean, damn the theme park. Bring back the restaurant. I was too young to go, and really wanted to go to that house.
from,
Bring back the goddamn restaurant.
from what I heard, the food was not good at the restaurant.
I just want to go to experience, bruh. I mean, go there and have a hardcore match for crying out loud. WWE After Dark, wouldn't it?
I mean, I think that the only thing that came out of that restaurant was Chris Angel, if I'm being completely honest.
Bring it back. I don't care. Bring it back just for me to experience. I'm selfish. Sorry.
And preferably
Selfish.
in Los Angeles, 100% San Diego, just for Kaliko's convenience.
Oh no, I'm willing to go to LA. I think LA would be better because there's a lot of shit closing in LA anyway. So I'm like, bring it back in LA. I'll gladly take the train to LA.
You're not wrong. Hopefully you go on a day that it's actually open.
I know, right? Make sure y'all give me the right date, or make sure I read. Read a book. Read a book. Read a motherfucker.
And it is worth it's worth mentioning that AAA standouts Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown made their SmackDown debut on Friday against El Fantasmo Digado Valencia Sarantino. Um, in a losing effort, clearly, but yeah, both of them got a big pop. Mr. Iguana even bigger pop than Psycho Clown, but Yeah, that was to be expected. No.
I mean, he's got the most popular thing in the world is in Layeska. And did you see the video of Santino hitting the Cobra on Layeska?
Yes, I did.
That was crazy because kids were legit crying. Like, you killed the motherfucker. Like, oh shit. That's the only thing I love about wrestling. We talk all this shit about suspended belief, but a motherfucking puppet gets assassinated and everybody's like, what the fuck?
I mean,
Like, what the fuck?
Santino's making the rounds. He had a match against Ethan Page on
Ethan Page.
yeah, and like
NXT, yeah.
good on Ethan Page. He sold that like a motherfucker. If I'm being completely honest.
Of course he did. He sold it like he got bit by a real goddamn snake.
And I mean, that's how you're
Someone
supposed
needs to
to do
suck
it.
the venom out. Suck the venom out. Suck the Someone should be sucking the venom out. I have it. As staff letting them sit there and die. Bad homie staff. How you treat your champion. Anyway.
Right. That will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.